So in this episode, I want to go through the typical recruitment example with you and the evaluation process of a role. So I'm thinking the role could be, something like a growth hacker, head of growth, digital marketer, some kind of role where your role is to basically market the products of the company, increase revenue and increase the number of people that are using the product. And I made this Excel sheet, and the Excel sheet is just like a very, very brief run through of the three things that I've been talking about throughout the week: culture, aptitude, and skills. So in this case, I said that data driven would be one of the values of this like hypothetical company. And a question you could ask there is like, how do you make decisions? And whenever the person responds to such a question, you can look for like, is this person like looking at data and making the decision, or are they going for more like intuition? So if you're a very data driven company, then obviously like the person also needs to be data driven when they make decisions. And the second thing is like team player, and in that case you could use something like a reference, and you can call the reference and ask the reference about like, how is this person in a team, like how is it working with this person. And then when it comes to aptitude, I wrote something like analytical, and in this case you could be doing a case with a person. And the way that the case works is that you have some kind of problem or something that would be a real kind of business area for the company, and then you give some information around that specific question, and then you either solve the case together with the candidate, or the candidate solves the case and kind of present it for you. So the example here would be to say something like, how can we increase our revenue? Then you give them the candidate some data regarding the current performance of the company, and then you see like, how would the person increase the revenue of the company. And another thing that you're evaluating at the same time as the aptitude for kind of the analytical skill, you evaluate kind of the skill of optimizing a marketing / sales funnel. So like, you will start to hear if the person is like thinking about, how can the revenue be increased by, either like acquiring more users, or like activating more users, making more users come back, or like making existing users kind of refer other users, or just like increasing conversion rate. Like, how do they think about that marketing / sales funnel of the company? And then another thing I wrote down was an interview question that I think is great, and that is like, if I give you 100,000 SEK or like US dollars or whatever currency you have, and the answer to that question will give you an idea about the thought process of the candidate when it comes to like optimizing ad spend. So the things to the left here is like the cultural values and the aptitude variables and the skill variables, and then you have like the questions and the process of evaluating this in the middle, and then to the right you have the type of evaluation that you're using. And in this case we've been using cases, we've been using interview questions, we've been using references. And you could also be using, digital tools like digital tests together with the candidate. But those are pretty straightforward, like personality tests and cases where you evaluate certain skills. So this is a very broad overview to a recruitment process. Like, I would basically take this and go back to your own role and think, like, what is the outcome of this role? What is the activities that this person should be performing? And what kind of cultural values do we have as a company? What is the important aptitude for this person? And what are the important skills for this person? And then structure like a process with, first screening the CVs, then having a first phone call, and then having like 2 interviews and a case. So this was a crash course into how to design a recruitment process. If you think this was interesting, please hit subscribe, and if you have any questions or thoughts, or was it something that was unclear, please leave a comment below and I answer it for you.